It's a huge privilege for me to be able to speak on behalf of the Fig Tree. And I would imagine that most of you people sitting here in this audience are familiar with what it's like to introduce a new idea and how to foster social justice into the Spokane community. And then to be met with a quizzical look and a, what? Well, that's how my husband and I started our careers in 1984, looking into a lot of quizzical faces as we described how we wanted to create a fair trade business that would partner with marginalized artisans in Nepal to provide them with fair wages and long-term trading relationships that would allow them what we all want: the ability to have stability in their lives, to educate their children, to be able to make choices, and to care for their communities. We didn't think it was such a strange idea, but we saw a lot of quizzical faces. A lot of people saying, do business like what? If you've heard about fair trade in Spokane, it's most likely that you either, one, heard it from my mom, Joy Attwood, who was our largest fan and best advertiser, or two, you read about it in the Fig Tree, where Mary has been writing and informing the Inland Northwest about the importance of supporting fair trade since the early 90s. Mary and the staff of the Fig Tree have written numerous informative, very in-depth articles, not only on our business, but on the many fair trade events and fair trade businesses that have grown in the Spokane area. The Fig Tree has given Spokane area readers the tools to educate themselves on why and how they can become involved in this very important social justice movement of fair trade. And they have not only connected us to each other, but us to the greater Spokane community and to the greater worldwide movement. But I want to tell you a very personal story about how deep the Fig Tree connections in this community go. Those at the Fig Tree, and particularly Mary Stamp, know their community so intimately that they can find stories that aren't even formed yet, and they can help bring them to fruition and then into bloom. Last October, I was at my desk and the phone rang, and it was Mary. So, she said, is there anything that Ganesh Himal is up to that I should know about, or maybe write on? Any plans in the works? You probably have all heard that. Mary knows me really well and knows that I don't sit still for very long, and it just so happens that I had an idea a few days earlier that I was formulating, but that I hadn't quite put together yet. So I told Mary that earlier in the year when I was in Nepal, I had had my heart broken. For years, our business has been sending money to provide 3-year scholarships to artisans to help keep their girl children in school. And we met with 2 of the girls that time in Nepal who had received the scholarships, and we wanted to follow up with them. When we asked them how school was, they said, great, and their faces lit up and they were so happy. And then we asked them what did they want to do after school and when they grew up, and their faces immediately dropped. And they said, well, we don't know, because we don't know, our scholarships are finished, and we don't know if we'll be able to go back to school. Well, then it was me that had to hold back the tears, because I could see the amazing potential in these young girls in Nepal. And so I pondered what to do, and I came up with this kind of crazy idea that really it only takes about $5 a month to get scholarships to the 160 girls that receive them. And I thought anyone could give $5. And so I thought I'd call it the Power of 5. I explained this to Mary, the whole complicated scheme, and immediately she just said, great, I'll write a story about it. And 2 weeks later, the Fig Tree published the story, Ganesh Himal Trading launches scholarship project to support education opportunities for girls in Nepal. Mary described the whole plan of how we were going to provide $5 bookmarks for people to do fundraising and try to raise $4,500 for more scholarships. Well, not only did the Fig Tree spur us into action, but even better, before we could even get the bookmarks printed and back from the printers, a Fig Tree reader from Cheney had read about it, had come down to Missouri to pick up her fundraising packet, which wasn't even ready yet. The fundraising had begun, and then to fast forward, just 2 weeks ago, I was in Nepal. I delivered $7,300 in donations to the scholarship fund. And now the Power of 5 is well on its way to providing scholarships for the girls for all 10 years of their schooling. So what has the Fig Tree done? Well, there are far fewer quizzical faces when I explain what we do in Nepal as fair trade. There are many more supporters of this great and important movement in the Inland Northwest, and there are 160 little girls in Nepal whose future is getting brighter. That, to me, is connection. Thank you. Mary.